Well, I'm taking a video inside today. Something new. Kind of a nice little space, Got the porch. Um, it's a little bit windy out today, that's why. And it's kind of hard to hear in the wind, let alone just walking outside. But man, yesterday I didn't have a tough day, but I had a challenging day, and it's important to distinguish that difference. Tough days, for me anyway, it's like you're struggling with handling emotion or processing something, and it just makes the day tough. You can just wake up in a mood, not really know why, have to really dig inside to really figure out why. But when it's a challenging day, for me anyways, I was challenged with looking at myself from the perspective of another person, mainly my therapist. So I went to see my therapist yesterday, and the point of therapy for me is to not hear things that I want to hear. It's to hear things that are going to challenge me, help me grow, and help me deepen who I know I am, and catch the things that I don't necessarily see, but my therapist would, or whoever, whatever. So I've been chewing on that for I didn't sleep very well. Didn't eat lunch yesterday, which, not good. Anyways, I digress. When, this, I talk a lot about stigma around mental health, and it's really in a lot of areas, but mainly the viewpoint in society. And everybody wants to say they support mental health, and that's totally fine. That's okay. But when it comes to really understanding that process, okay, like when somebody receives a diagnosis, when they go for treatment, when they do the tough things that people don't see, it's a little bit different. Okay, so I've been trying to figure out how I was going to talk about this, but I'm just going to do it. So I was in inpatient therapy for about a week. Some of the things we're going to talk about are really tough to say, but I feel like it's just needed for people just to understand what this is, what this looks like for a lot of people. Before I entered into that, I was struggling really, really bad with anxiety and depression. Knew I had it, didn't know how severe it was. I had a misdiagnosis for my mental health that was being treated with medication that was not healthy for me. Led me to a point of just complete loneliness, not the medication, just my thinking, and all the things that just consumed me. I hit a point of loneliness that I cannot even explain. I'll do another video on that specifically, but loneliness, come to find out, and if you're a nerd like me with a brain, loneliness at a deep level can cause physical pain. Can. It's scientific. Has to do with your amygdala and things so when you feel loneliness, deep loneliness, it's like a neural response in your brain that is just like physical pain. And that's how I explain it. That loneliness for me was so deep, okay? So if you couple loneliness with impulsive decision-making and intrusive thoughts, it's a recipe for disaster, and it's exactly what happened to me. So how I ended up in therapy, okay, inpatient therapy. I over-medicated on my depressive medication. However, it was not an attempt to end my life. I need to make that very clear because there's a big difference. My goal was to end my pain, emotional pain that was causing a physical pain. Well aware of what I was doing. Not to say that it was justified, but it happened. Okay, over medicated on my medication. Not a good idea. I don't recommend it. Um, had to get, had to go to the ER, stay overnight, be checked out, all those things. Got placed in emergency protective custody, which is standard procedure. Okay, so anybody that has a mental health crisis, if there's a fear of them harming themselves further or whatever, that's standard. Okay, so I was in the hospital, and it was, the emergency room's different, right? People come in there for different reasons, heart attacks, whatever. When it comes to mental health, there's like one specific room, and everybody knows, like don't go to that room. But there's like a big door, massive door, and then there's a smaller door. So if somebody's like losing their cool in that room, they just have like this little smaller door that they just peek in, like a pocket. It's like, hey, you okay? No, okay, shut the door. But everybody knows what it's for. Okay, there's just one room, and I was in there, and I don't want to say I was ashamed. I want to say that it was like I was just kind of disappointed in myself, thinking negative things still. Had people come in to talk to me, and there was, this agreement to be put in inpatient therapy, which at the time I was like, I don't really have a choice, but I wanted to do something anyways. Okay, so I got placed. I'm not going to tell you where it was at. Just know that in the Omaha area there are several places. I can only speak on the one that I was at, and it was good. Okay, it was really good actually. So landed there. I get checked in or whatever, and they go through this process, and it's very similar. So like I've never been to jail, but I've seen enough videos, I've seen enough movies. The intake was much of the same, which can be isolating for some people. Like, they make them feel like they did something wrong, it kind of just rubs you the wrong way. But I understand why they do it. Okay, so I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I understand why. Okay, got these blue scrubs. They look like literally looks like a prison uniform, and basically all it's for. Okay, so they give you these general things. Okay, so any sort of inpatient therapy for like behavioral and mental health, they're gonna it's just common. So you can't hurt yourself or others. So if anybody gets offended when they go in there or whatever, like this, just know that they're trying to do their best. They're just doing what they're supposed to be doing. See, I'm wearing these scrubs. I go in there, okay, and it's set up much like just inpatient hospital. You got rooms and everything, and little TV room, like a little foyer area, and then there's obviously a bunch of other rooms, but you get in there, and it's not like there's padded walls, okay? At least not the one I was at. There's no straitjackets. There's, you still have windows. You still can like freely move around. The room, I want to say it was like a mix between like a dorm room, okay, and like basically just a regular hospital room. There's obviously things in there that are different because some people are in there with like some extreme mental health issues like schizophrenia, those types of things, paranoid beyond belief. So like there's protective things in all these rooms, okay? So, however, when you get in there though, every decision you make has to be for you. They're not going to force you to do anything, okay? Like, yeah, the doctors come talk to you. The psychiatrist talks to you, just kind of get you acclimated with being there, and then, with looking at your medical history, that type of thing, okay? But they are not going to make you do anything, all right? So it's not like you go in there and there's like this, you have to do A, B, C. You don't have to do any of it. So there's people that go in there and they're they're active. They want to get better. Then there's people that are there that are just struggling really, really bad, and they just want some isolation. And then, there's some other people there that just, when they're having really severe things happen, it just needs to happen. They just need to be there. So there's a range of people there, okay? However, I can't stress this enough that when people find out, just drives me crazy. When people find out, like, hey, this person got put up on the. And by the way, why is it always the fifth floor? I think it's ridiculous. But when people find out that you get put in inpatient therapy, and please never use this word ever. If they say you got put in the psych ward, incorrect, totally incorrect. However, society, right? When they find that out, it's like, ooh, that dude crazy. I'll think of him, but I'm not gonna go see him. I'm not gonna go ask questions. Not my place, right? Which it's a pretty natural response, and I'm not I'm not degrading anybody that thinks that, because it's strange. Okay, it is. However, it's no different than any other inpatient, hospital stay. It really isn't. So you're in there, or I'm in there, whatever. They have groups that you can go to twice a day, 3 times a day, just kind of whatever the schedule is. Basically, if you think of the groups like any sort of rehab for like an injury, pretty much the same thing, right? You're just rehabbing your mind. You're learning things about some different mental illnesses that you may not have known, some different coping skills, those types of things. It's very educational, and the amount of people that were in there, let's say, and I don't have actual stats on this, but I'm just going from like when I was there. So in that region at that time, let's say 20% of them were there because they had to be. The rest of them, people self-admitted themselves. They were self-admitted. They wanted help. Do you know how brave that is? Do you have any? I don't think people really understand how brave that is when you are struggling so bad and you have all of these thoughts racing in your head and you're lonely and you're isolated, and these people are able to say, I need help. I need help. And they're there. And they're not crazy, okay? The people that are in there are not crazy. They are struggling with just life. And they need help, okay? So the next time somebody talks about the psych ward or whatever, just do me a favor and punch them right in the face. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But just, help me make other people aware that that's not the right terminology, because it's not. So this is this part of the mental health aspect is what nobody wants to talk about, the treatment. Nobody wants to talk about this because it's too uncomfortable. I don't care to talk about it. Like I've said multiple times, I'm going to sacrifice my privacy because I want people to understand that there's no shame in getting help. None at all. Okay. So you got groups, you've got good people there. You talk to people, you want to make some conversation, and then the things you find out people are struggling with, you just get sad about. Life just happens. Life happens, and it happened the wrong way for a lot of people. And in the diverse amount of people in there, it could range from schizophrenia to somebody that was struggling really bad with depression and anxiety that led to like a substance abuse issue, legal problems. And they're just there, and they want the same thing that you want. They want to get better. Okay, so judgment free, thank God. There's a great team of experts, but the best part about this is the absolute, just complete, what's the word? Blindness from society. Okay, the world is happening outside of there, but inside, it's like a safe place. Okay, there's no social media. You can't have your phone. There's TV, but watch movies, whatever. So it's like you have to be wanting to get better. Otherwise, you're just going to sit there and it's just not going to be good. You can they have like a library. You can get books. I nerded out on a book called Emotional Intelligence, and I'm like, holy cow, this is like amazing. It's like I'm back in my undergrad for psychology. But so you have to do things that you want to get better at. People can come visit. They have visiting hours, whatever, those types of things. But that being in there was needed for me, and um, the minute I got in there, got in there in the afternoon and, got to my room, got all that fun stuff going, and then I went to a group right away because I wasn't going to be there just to mope around. Woe is me. This is terrible. Everybody feels sorry for me. That's not why I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in there because I wanted to get better. So I immediately started getting plugged in. I wanted to rehab through this to get different coping skills, to understand, why am I struggling so bad? Very helpful. And out of that, I was able to help other people unknowingly, just talking about my struggle, you know, um, just talking about the things that happened to me that they're like, wow, I'm not the only one going through this. Um, so that was beneficial, just the social part of it. Second part of that is more scientific, right? So you meet with psychiatrist, you meet with a therapist, whatever, and they just go through medical history, right? Like, you know, ask you every question under the sun. Okay. Through that process, I was able to get an actual diagnosis. Okay. Get a correct med, which, man, I'm so happy about. So if you guys want to know, and I'm not afraid to say this, so my mental struggle, my mental illness is severe general anxiety disorder. They call it GAD, but that's not why I was in there. Everybody struggles with anxiety. That would like fuel the fire to major depressive disorder. Okay, so it's like one fueled the other. And it comes in waves. So I was able to actually, and I don't really fit into any box, is what they told me, but like that was helpful insight. Because I had been diagnosed in the past just based on life experiences and not how it actually like affected me. So when people find out that like the things that I went through, they're like, oh, you have to have PTSD. Well, no, that's not always the case. It's not always the case. Anyways, it was very beneficial. Okay. It was literally a retreat for my mind. Literally. And I wish that's what they would call it, but they have to call it inpatient therapy. Okay. And if I'm being 100% honest, every single one of us should go in there for at least a week. Reset your mind. Make you realize that taking a break from the world for a while is actually a very healthy thing. Talking to other people that are struggling, that's very healthy. Journaling for a week straight, that's healthy. Not being on stupid social media for a week, super healthy. So these programs are designed for a reason. They're not perfect, okay? They are not perfect. A lot of that has to do with two things: resources available and people. They don't have the staffing. And I have to say this because this was critical. The nurses and the techs that work in this particular place were phenomenal. Phenomenal. Probably the most important part of my entire treatment was the nurses, because some of the stuff they have to do, working, first of all, 12-hour shifts, dealing with a range of different things, and then they still are there with a smile, asking you how you're doing, walking and talking with you. They don't have to do those things. That's not part of their job description, but they wanted to. They wanted people to get better. So my nursing team was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I'll never forget them at all. They're great people. Okay. Anybody working in the healthcare industry, I mean, props, because it is tough. It's tough. So that's what that was. That's my process. So that helped transform me. I don't know if people have kind of read on my blog post or whatever about my transformation, but would not have happened without inpatient therapy. Would not have happened. It's what tipped the scale. It is. It really is. And I'm not ashamed to talk about it, people. If I make you uncomfortable, go follow something else. If your life is perfect and you think you don't have any problems, well, then you shouldn't even be watching this video. But for like the majority of us, the ones that want to be real with ourselves, like, it was beneficial. And I encourage you, whether you think you struggle with mental illness or not, I encourage you once a month, once a quarter, whatever, twice a year, just go see a therapist and say, I don't really have a reason to be here. Um, but I just want to check to see if, if my thinking's okay, if some of the things that have been going on in my life recently are natural responses, and maybe come up with some coping strategies to help. You know, I think everybody should do that. However, not everybody is going to, because it's a sign of weakness and that you're just flat out crazy, which I'm hoping to change here. So nobody wants to talk about this process, right? Nobody wants to and it's fine if you don't want to ask questions. Like it can be uncomfortable, right? You don't want to feel like you're overstepping a boundary or anything like that. But for me, ask away. Ask away. I don't care. I'll let everybody know. Obviously, I'm going to protect the privacy of the people that were there. But for me, I'm an open book. It was life-changing for me. Life-changing. It's the only way I can describe it. I'm a totally different person, When I walked out of there, I have never felt more at peace, even with all this craziness going on. And my biggest concern was coming back into society. My biggest concern wasn't leaving there as fast as possible. My concern was I got to re-enter the craziness of this world. How am I going to handle it? So, all the stigmas around in the movies and all the crap about, the mental health unit on a hospital floor is not what you think. Not even close. Okay? They're not a bunch of zoo animals up there throwing poop on the walls, hitting each other, nothing like that. Okay? These are people just like you and me that are just struggling. And honestly deserve a round of applause, because most of them there were like, hey, I need help. I need to get in there. And that's so brave. I don't think people understand how brave that is. And the people were so friendly, everybody was just, a lot of them were just friendly. Some were struggling more than others, but they're just people, just like you and me. So that's part of the process, okay? That was a major step for me. And I'm not going to say every program is good. I know of some that probably aren't. However, you got to look at this from a perspective of what is available resource-wise. What area of the country is this in? It makes sense, right? Like if they're struggling to find help, staff shortages, whatever, those programs are probably going to suffer a little bit, okay? But I was blessed enough to be in a program that was very helpful, okay? And I'm going to talk about it because it deserved to be, they deserve to be talked about, because it was just, I can't even compliment these people enough. So if you guys are watching my videos or my blogs and you're like, what happened to that dude in there? Did he have clothes on, or was he just in the fetal position in the corner crying for a week? Totally no. It's not like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, okay? When he found out he kissed a man. No, it was needed for me. It was like a sabbatical for my mind. Kind of reset me, for me, help deepen my faith. And I'm not here to tell people that's the way to go. But it was a very crucial step. I would not be sitting here talking to you right now if it wasn't for that. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I'd still be struggling. I'd still feel like a loner. I'd still be feeling all the things that I did. There's some validation in going through that process, because they tell you, listen, you struggle just like everybody else. You're just aware that you need help, and we're here to help you. I mean, to me, that's not wrong at all. And the stigma around it is stupid. And I'm hopefully going to change that. So, on another note, this is kind of new for me, right? These video posts, and I've had a couple of people reach out, just say, hey, thank you for doing this. But I appreciate from one of my high school buddies, good dude, who's doing some awesome things with kids. I mean, he's just got a heart for it, and he's doing great. But he's like, hey, you talk about your faith a lot, and that's really awesome. And he's like, maybe try to relate to the people that don't have faith, or people that believe in other things. And I'm like, hey, thanks for suggesting that, because sometimes, I get a little bit tunnel vision on how I treat or how I cope with things, and a big part of mine is faith. But I want to be able to help others, and they're not going to relate to me if they don't believe in God. So that was a good point. And it's a big step for somebody to say that, because maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, I'd have been like, sorry, bro, like I'm here to promote Jesus, which I am if people want to hear it. However, I want to relate to people. I want to help them with their mental health. And I'm not here to throw the Bible in your face. Okay. So if you do not believe in God, okay, that's fine. I'm not here to like judge you or anything. Okay. I'm here to help you any way that I can. If you're struggling with mental health, I'm here. Okay, I'm not going to do anything to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to show up at your house with a suit and a Bible in hand or anything like that. Okay, I'm just going to talk to you. So I'll post some different content about some coping things. I would encourage you to check out a website. It's called the National Alliance of Mental Illness .org. It's got a lot of great resources that I'm going to refer to. You can sign up for free, or you can become a member. But it's got great stuff on there, and I'll be alluding to those things in next videos or in my writing. But hey, like, I appreciate him reaching out to me, first of all, encouraging me, and then saying, hey, here's an idea, maybe this will help. I took it well. How else was I supposed to take that? He's like, hey, good job. So if anybody else has any suggestions, I'm totally open for it. If I said something in any other post that you're like, that didn't really sit well with me, just let me know. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. Okay, like, I'm just here to talk about mental health, to help people with coping through it, to help them try to find the resources they need. Some of the stuff I say is probably not right, and that's fine. So if I'm wrong on anything, just let me know. Have a conversation about it. It'd be fine. So I had to say that, though, talk about the process of me being in inpatient therapy. Hopefully it shed some light to the process, and that it's not near as bad as everybody thinks it is. Again, it's vital. It's vital for people that are really, really, really struggling. And I encourage you to take that brave step. If you are struggling and you just don't feel like you have anybody, I will help you. Okay. I will refer you to the place I was at, because they will welcome you with open arms and not make you feel like you're crazy. Okay. Everybody deserves somebody to help them. Everybody does. This life's not meant to be done alone. And anybody that feels like they're doing it alone, I'm sorry that you have to do that, because that's not right at all. So I hope you took something out of this. I'll post some new stuff, and I'm open to ideas, people. If you want to comment, or if you want to email me or whatever, find me on, obviously you're on Facebook, but shoot me a message. Be like, hey, I believe in this. Can you like maybe come up with some ideas or help me figure some stuff out on that? And I'll do that very intimately with you. I won't post that with a video unless you absolutely, unless you are okay with it. So if you're just wanting some help, I will be there for you. So, all right. 28 minutes. Sorry, it's a long video, but I had to talk about it. So everybody enjoy your day. It's it's halfway through the week. It's sunny out. All right. Go be brave.